Hey Geophysicist, this video is just for you, so if you are not the geophysicist, you clicked on the wrong video. Alright, if you haven't already, you need your composition notebook and your flip of vocabulary. I just want to do some checking, and so if you need help, you can get some help right here. Alright, if you haven't cut them out, then make sure you pause the video or stop it and get the key papers that you need. Yours are green, and cut out all your pieces, and then we'll go through them. Alright. High tide. Oh, by the way, you are gluing this on page 14. Make sure you're on 14. Okay. High tide. High tide is a point of the tidal cycle where the sea level is at its highest. Okay, so if you remember when we met in group, okay, it's the waves are coming into the beach, okay, and the water level will rise and fall. Okay, so high tide is when it's at its highest. Okay. Low tide, go figure, is the point of the tidal cycle when it's at its lowest. Okay. Tidal ranges are the difference between the two. So if low tide came here and high tide came up here, then that span, we just measure it, and that gives us the tidal range. Okay, and I think we talked about how that's connected to math, because to find the range you have to take the highest numeric value and the lowest numeric value, and you subtract them. So that's how you find the tidal range. You take the highest tide measurement and the lowest tide measurement, and you subtract them, and then you have the tidal range. Okay. Spring tide. Spring tides occur when Earth, Moon, and Sun are aligned, or in a line, or straight line. So remember, we talked about a straight angle, starts with S, gives us spring tides, and this is when the high tide and the low tide are super. So it's super, super high tides, super, super low tides. Okay? So the definition is when the sun and moon align to make the largest tidal range, highest high tides and lowest low tides. That leaves one more, neap tide. Neap tide is when Earth, Moon, and Sun form a 90-degree angle. Okay, and so it's when the tidal range is at its smallest and occurs during the first and third quarters of the phases of the moon. Okay. And if you want to also make a note that spring tides, the moon phases would be full moon and new moon. Okay, so you should have that glued into what page? That's right, 14. Okay, looks like this, and you're ready for your next video. Okay, go Hawks!